and he was at Allen's hearing today. Bob, what do you make of these proceedings today? An actual Supreme Court appearance in a state before a trial even gets underway?
It's unusual, especially in the middle of a trial, and really getting to that level of the Supreme Court, because this is what they call an original action or writ of mandamus. Typically, the step is to go either on what they call an interlocutory appeal, which is an appeal that happens while the trial is going on, or they appeal after they're convicted. So to go to this extent, and it was one of the major things that was argued today, especially by Judge Gull's attorneys, with respect to they skipped a step, it shouldn't be here. So yeah, it was very unusual.
If you're a fan of true crime and you scour the internet for everything you can on the Delphi case, you'll see a lot of skeptics. Like, you will see a lot of people who say, I think they got the wrong guy. But, the internet's one thing. So what is your read on this case?
Well, when the probable cause affidavit dropped, I was one of those out there with a pretty loud voice in terms of the podcast that felt it was a very weak probable cause affidavit because it basically amounted to mere presence and then, basically a shell casing that had not discharged through the weapon. And that was basically it, aside from 4 witnesses who all gave a different description. And that goes to just exactly what the issue is with eyewitnesses. They're just not reliable. So I just felt that it was a weak PCA. That didn't mean that the state wasn't going to be able to produce more evidence because, as we know, the police investigation, law enforcement investigation continues long after the arrest takes place. So I think that they assumed that they'd get more. Whether or not they did, I don't know. But when you look at the strength of, say, Kohlberger's PCA in comparison to the Delphi, I was of the mindset they might have gotten the wrong guy here. And for justice for the girls, we need the right guy.
Yeah, I mean, this is such a tug on the heartstrings when you think about these families, wanting justice and not wanting injustice either, right? But when it comes to Richard Allen, it took 5 years to arrest him. He's been incarcerated for 2 years. All sorts of, transformations in his body and his mental health and all the rest. And it feels like, and again, I don't know what the case has or what the state has in terms of a case, but it feels like the strongest evidence they might have are these phone confessions when he's talking to his family. But if you've got mental health issues and you're repeating with cadence what the prosecutors might have on you, it could sound like a confession. I always go back to my cousin Vinny, and I wonder if that's the wrong thing to think at this point, that maybe this is just not strong, what they've got on the phone records.
Yeah, and the only way that we'll know is when we hear it and when it gets vetted, because of everything you said. Essentially, we've got him in custody, but he's also in segregation 23 hours a day. He simply is not going to be of the same mindset that a normal person that's out and about every day will be in because of the isolation. On top of that, look, I've been in prisons for 20 years of my legal career defending people, and they are not happy places. And when you have a pretrial detainee like Richard Allen, which means he has not been convicted in a place where there's only convicted people, there is no presumption of innocence from either the inmates or the guards. So people need to understand, if they don't think that guards try to push pretrial detainees into confessing to crimes, it happens all the time. So we just have to hear it. We have to hear context. We have to hear what he sounds like, and we'll find out where it is from there. And the defense is going to be up to the challenge. They know it's an issue, and they're going to address it the best they can.
It is, of course, part of why this is so fascinating. A, we want to know what happened, and then B, we want to know what they really have. And sometimes we just have to be patient. Bob Motta, thank you. So appreciate your wisdom on this. Thank you for watching. Go to newsnationnow.com to find NewsNation on your television provider. And don't forget to click the red subscribe button below to get more of NewsNation's fact-driven, unbiased coverage.